Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where I'm going to be checking out a group who I had not heard of until a couple of days ago called DADARAY. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, which was recommended to me, and I was told, hey Howard, this is a group that you will probably really like, should be right down your alley, which always concerns me when people say that. I love the suggestions, and I especially love if you think I'm going to like them, but we're always honest on this channel, and when someone says, hey, I think this is something you're really going to like, it just kind of reminds me of that phrase when people say, hey, you should come meet this friend of mine. You'll really like them. You're just like you'll really like them. And who has ever been in that situation and not walked away from it going, oh my God, that person is so boring or so annoying. Or, now I disrespect my friend because my friend thinks I'm like this. Anyway, I'm hoping that's not the situation we're going to incur here. DADARAY. They look like an interesting band, just from the freeze frame on the first shot of this video. They just look like some interesting people. So I'm looking forward to this, and as always, we'll be honest, and I'll give my opinions afterwards. If there are a free piece, by the way, that's something we've been getting a lot of free piece bands on this channel recently, and I always find free pieces interesting. I'll just repeat a point I've said a couple of times before, but I think this is really relevant. Free piece bands can kind of fall into one of three categories in my mind, which is either, hey, we just play everything straight as a free piece, B, we're kind of, a bit insecure about being a free piece, so we always have extra musicians and like loads of production appear to make us sound bigger. Or C, which is the group who are aware they're a free piece and just manage to get the most out of it. Like all the members will sing and like some members will be multi-instrumentalists and stuff like that. So I don't know what to expect here, but this is a DADARAY with a song that I didn't transfer the name of, something about rain or thunder. No, it's rain, I think. Okay, anyway, enough talking. Here it is. Ooh, okay. Ten seconds in, and I think they might have been right about me. Love that sort of restless feel and the sort of piano-centric arrangement. Oh, they're a five-piece. To see how much we didn't get in the photograph. It's got a really nice voice. The melody's sort of bouncing along quite nicely, going. Lots of nice chord progression, melodic progression, beautiful piano work. There's a lot to like, and the bass is doing really great as well. Simple when it needs to be, complicated when it needs to be. There's this very Japanese sort of genre of somewhere between jazz and rock, like jazz rock music, of which I think this falls into the bracket of being. I love her playing. Her playing's just beautiful. Gorgeously written. That vinyl crackle effect seems really out of place. That was a bit weird. maybe it's not. Maybe it's not Vinyl Crackle. Maybe it's Rain because that's the Rain kanji because this song's something about rain. It did sound weird though. That effect when it came in. Okay, we got a lot to unpack, which I'm always glad when I get to say that. First of all, I mean, the thing that just towards the end, it suddenly dawned on me, it suddenly occurred to me that I realised that reminds me a lot of at least the first two Bare Naked Ladies albums. Now, I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with the band. I mean, you've probably all heard the particularly famous hits like One Week, which are probably not too representative of what the band sounds like. Oh, is that not always the case? But they had that sort of feeling of being poppy, but always having this sort of restless undercurrent that, you know, like the piano or the keyboard player and the guitarist and the bassist would never just sort of settle down. They'd always have that jazzy thing of like always improvising, always moving. You know, the ultimate jazz trope, I guess you could say. And that is how this song felt to me. It felt like this song was very alive, very lively, very nimble. That it had a rather simple song to deliver, but it's almost like it is that jazz thing. It is that jazz thing that someone comes in and says, okay, this is the song, here is the song, here are the chords. This song is relatively simple. It's got a nice developing chorus, but it's relatively simple. Now I want you to pick up your instruments and basically work around that. Don't play the actual notes, play around the notes. That's kind of what it feels like. And yeah, I can't help but love that. I think that's a really beautiful approach. It is something that you don't want to listen to that all the time because it is a very sort of hectic style to play. It's I'd also like that a lot of the Japanese bands who do this kind of thing, again, like Bare Naked Ladies, adopt quite a light sound. You know, there's nothing particularly aggressive. You know, the drums tend to be mixed and played in a relatively soft way, you know, not super soft, but you know, it's not hard, it's not cutting, not hitting too much. The guitar is usually quite softly distorted or turned down quite low. The bass is usually not that bassy. These sorts of groups tend to be aware that if you kind of overdid it, then it would be just probably a little bit of a headache. So they keep their sound quite light as well as nimble. And so, you know, you are left with this sound which is just engaging. Yeah, like I say, I couldn't listen to this all the time. If all of their songs were like this and I was listening to it all the time, after a while it might get a little bit much. But it's a real breath of fresh air. I think that's the best thing to say. This is not to say that, you know, Japanese music, one of the reasons why we do this channel, one of the reasons why I love Japan, I'm in this country partly, well, mostly because of the music scene. I mean, I love the country, but Japanese music is what encouraged me to come here. It's what made me fall in love with this place to begin with. And, you know, one of the things that we can say about Japanese music as a general is there's this massive attention to detail, this extraction of every last ounce of musicality from a song. In many cases, not all, but most cases, that's a real trademark of Japanese music. So I'm not saying that this doesn't occur in other bands, but some bands like this, it's where it goes from extracting everything from a song to this feeling that the musicians are just so relaxed and free that they are just kind of playing around with it. Like they could go and do this song a million times and every time it would be distinctly different. That's the vibe I get. Now, I don't know if that's accurate. As always, I say I work from a position of some experience with the music industry and, you know, songwriting and various things, but I don't know the band. You guys, as the fans and the followers, probably know more about the artist than me, so feel free to school me and correct me about things that I might or might not know about this band. I mean, maybe they wrote every note to perfection, but if they did, it's still, the compliment still remains because of the fact that they've managed to make it sound like it was improvised. So like I say, the core of the song was nice. It was there. It had a good progression. I loved the chord progressions in some point, especially in the chorus. The chorus itself was quite catchy, and the singer's voice, as I sometimes say, this can be the case when you review as many bands as we've done on this channel, her voice was not one where I go, okay, that really stands out and I could recognize her voice anywhere. And yet it was good enough that it certainly sounded above average. It was more than just acceptable. She had a really nice tone of voice, good expression, got a fair bit of power in there as well. And, you know, sort of a good jazzy tone. Not the most right home about it, memorable voice, but, you know, you don't have to be the most memorable thing at all times to, you know, just be very interesting and, you know, very engaging. And that's overall what this was. It's very engaging. I was really interested about the two members at the back. Are they in the band? Because they weren't in that sort of group photo thing or any of the group scenes, and they both seem to be sort of slightly out of focus, standing in the back in much darker clothes than everyone else. So I wonder if this is actually a three-piece band who hires themselves a drummer and a guitarist as they go along, which would be an interesting amalgamation of two of the versions of three-piece that I suggested there are. I'm not going to dive too much into this point because I don't even know if it's true, but it would be kind of like they're a band who can extract everything from being a three-piece and also gets extra musicians to come in and help them sound bigger. But yeah, basically put, very engaging, very likable. Would love to hear more. As I always say about these bands who have such a distinctive, engaging kind of style to their writing, I always hope that they have something which is a little bit different, because, you know, it's really great that they do this, but if this is the only way that they can do their sound, that would be sad. I mean, to give those examples again, one of the things that really makes Bare Naked Ladies stand out, especially on those first two albums, love their new stuff as well, but those first two albums were quite amazing. The reason why those first two albums stand out, and why I have hope for this group, is because they maintain that sort of hectic, detailed, nuanced performance throughout, and yet the songs are all so different. You know, they go from sort of really hyperbole, sort of crazy, blasting like folk punk songs down to sort of more funky things, slightly more intricate things, ballads. You know, virtually every sort of speed and pressure you can imagine is explored to some degree in that same sort of nimble and, you know, nuanced sound. You know, and so that's kind of what I'm hoping this band is. I'm hoping that they have all different types of songs. I mean, I even said this about Wagaki Band. Wagaki Band, very different sound, obviously, but once again, their whole thing is having this plethora of different timbres and sounds going on at the same time. And what's really interesting is the first song I heard by them, Zenbon Zakura, the most famous one, absolutely loved it, as you guys might remember, adored it. And then I said, well, okay, this is so great, guys. I want to see if they can do something different. If they kept on doing this forever, it would be brilliant. If they can do this different ways, even better. And when I really fell in love with the band was after hearing a few more songs, like I think it's Synchronize or something about that. Yeah. They had like the one which was jazzy, then they had ones which were more punky, and it's okay. They've managed to maintain this quality, but experimented with different types of songs as well. And that's what I've got hope for. That's kind of what I want to see from this group now. Really love them. They've blown me away with this first song. Really enjoyed it. Absolutely right for saying that I was going to like this. I'm so glad that I'm relieved that that's actually came out good this time when someone said that. So now I know they can do this. Show me them bringing that same quality to a slightly different type of song, and I will start to fall in love with this band. So, as always, thank you very much for tuning in. You do have yourselves a lovely day, and you can get in the comments in the meantime. If you want to get more involved, get involved in our social media where you can leave me suggestions for songs. But for now, from Japan, it's ciao ciao. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out more of our hundreds of videos we got online on this channel right now, or get involved in the discussion with us at the many social media links we've got in the description below, where you can suggest new videos and artists for us to check out on the channel. Or you can just do the usual YouTube stuff and, comment, like, subscribe. You know how this works by now.